We are so grateful to be able to come to Texas to help out the good people that live here. We know they would do the same for us. We love the people of Texas.
For the past week, we've seen footage like this in the aftermath of Harvey, acts of kindness from strangers nationwide rushing in to help Texans in the floodwaters. One local group that has been sharing their story of rescue efforts is Wild Florida. And joining us today is Sam Hopp from Wild Florida. Thank you so much for joining us. And you said you guys went there after you responded to a tweet.
Yeah, we saw the tweet from the Houston City Police that said, if you've got a boat, now's the time to get here. And we happened to have 9 of them and said, we kind of have to do something about that.
Did you take all 9 boats?
No, we had to stay open. So okay. We only took 2. And we took some of our more nimble, smaller boats that would allow us to kind of get into some of those sketchy areas and skinny water and neighborhoods.
That is incredible, because most people would see that tweet and think they were just talking about people who live near the Houston area, not someone who's going to drive across the country with their boats. So when you got there, what did you see? I mean, you've lived in Florida for a long time. You've had experience with hurricanes.
Yeah, we've seen high water plenty out here. We know what that looks like, but this was, so the scope of it and the depth of the water was like nothing we've ever seen before.
And you talked about not a lot of people in Texas have airboats, so this really was a novelty when you got there.
Right. Lots of people have the smaller John boats, the kicker boats, and that's pretty common. And we saw lots and lots of those, but airboats were only a handful of them. And so when we showed up and there was a police line or a blockade or something, and they saw airboats, they let us through.
That is incredible. And you know, it's hard, the pictures, it's hard to see the magnitude of this through the pictures. So walk us through, set the scene for us. What are some of the images that you saw that the video really can't capture? Yeah,
it's hard to forget, actually. Going into really nice neighborhoods where all you can see are the tops of rooftops. I mean, we're talking about 8-9 foot of water, and people just desperate. Scrambling, doing anything they can to get out. And it's not like they could just wade or swim out, because they would have had to swim 7-8 miles to get to dry ground.
Oh, wow.
And so they were literally stranded and needing rescue. And in a couple of places, we were the first ones there, and we were catching people waving white flags and towels and tying things on the front of their house white that would indicate they need help.
And where were they, on their roofs? Or?
Yeah, on, if they had a second story, they were up in the windows waving at us, or on the roof, just anywhere they could stay out of the water.
Tell us about some of the people you rescued. I imagine you formed some lifelong friendships now after this.
Yeah, especially a little town called Sour Lake. It's got a special place in our heart. We feel like we've got family there, and someday I want to go back and take my kids through these neighborhoods that I've airboated through, where you never should be airboating. We rescued one elderly lady that I really remember. She was 87 years old and suffering from dementia. And we picked her up on Friday. That means she's been in her house for a week, and at times up hip high in water in her house. And when we found her, we just thought, there's no way this lady's still in there.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her. Okay. And it just didn't seem logical that she would still be left behind after this neighborhood had been evacuated.
How did you even know she was in her house?
We had a lead. Someone told us, I think she might be in there. We haven't heard from her. We need to just go confirm. And so we airboated in about a good mile to get to her house. And when I approached the front door, I saw her shadow, and I just could not believe it. And I started shouting, she's here, she's here. She opened the door and met us with a broom in her hand, and she was sweeping the water in her house. And the power had been off, the water was up, she had 0 food, nothing to drink, and I really feel like we probably saved her life.
I'm sure you did, yeah. And what did she say when she finally saw you guys?
Well, she was actually excited to see us.
I'm sure she was.
And she wanted to go on that ride. She wanted to get on the airboat.
Oh, she wanted to go see some sights. Wow, that is incredible and so interesting. I know you guys have so many more stories. Thank you so much for what you did, saving lives, and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Of course, we can find some more of your stories on our website right now, clickorlando.com. Thanks, Sam.